excited to have you guys. We're so excited about this turnout. Thank you guys for your patience while we set up. So Monica and Zoe are going to do a pressure point demo, which I'm so excited about. And then after that, we have a drag performance by Baked Pizza. And then after that, we're going to screen Rebel Dykes. So yeah, thank you guys again for coming out. We really appreciate the support. Thanks.
Hey y'all, thanks for coming. So we're gonna do a pressure points demo for you. And we appreciate all kinds of crowd interactions. We love a lively crowd, so please do hoot and holler as you need. I'm Zoe. This is Monica. Louder! My bad. Yeah, Monica's gonna beat me up educationally. And I hope y'all will not just learn something, but participate. If you're feeling it, if you've got your tops in the audience, please rope them in. Get them to feel your pressure points. Monica's got the breakdown for you. I'll pass the mic to her.
Thanks so much. How y'all doing? Can y'all hear me? Yeah. Cool. So I'm Monica. I am a sadomasochist. I have been very happily beating up my friends for a while now. And like most people who were assigned top at birth, I pretty quickly found impact topping as something that really felt like a fun, like sadomasochism piece of intimacy. But there was always something that felt like it was a little bit missing, right? So you know, maybe I'm hitting Zoe like this, maybe Zoe's up against a cross, maybe up against a wall, and I'm not seeing Zoe's face, I'm not seeing Zoe's reactions. Even if I'm hitting them pretty hard, I'm not seeing what's going on, like, with most of their body, right? However, you know, even if I'm making Zoe dance around, I'm still standing way back here. I'm not touching them with my hands, I'm touching them with this flogger, right? However, if I am up against Zoe like this, as you want to be quite often during an impact scene, right? This is a fun connection with intimacy, but there's no sadism happening right now, right? I could like pinch them or whatever, but like, that's not a, you know, controlled way of doing this, right? And if I wanted to create some fun sadism time right here, I can do so with my bare hands with pressure points. Pressure points really felt like the glue that was holding a really fun impact scene together, helped you link different toys together, link different poses together, helped you keep the pain going while like getting in, being intimate with your partner. So we've got a few points to demonstrate here, and I think it would be really fun. When I first learned these, the way the class was structured was someone was up here doing the demos, and then people were out there pairing off, hurting each other, doing the demos that we were showing up on stage. And so if any of you have friends around that would be down to experiment with each other's pressure points, all this stuff is very safe, all this stuff is very easy. You don't need any tools, all you need is your fingers. And you might find that it's a fun, intimate S&M time for you to have here in the just with your buddies. Okay. So, the first one that we are going to demonstrate is on the side of the rib cage. So, imagine that, say, Zoe was up against a wall or a headboard or a St. Andrew's cross or something like that. This area is going to be open a lot, and it's, you know, a good place for flogger hits, it's a good place for punches, but under here there is a muscle that is used to hold your arm up like this, or to put your, bend your elbow, or to put your hand, no, this way, to put your hand in your back pocket. And we don't do this anywhere near as much as we do the forward-facing one, which means that this muscle is very tense it's probably very knotted, and if you're not like warming this up, getting massages, anything like that, it's probably very sensitive. So you don't really need to press that hard to dig, say, with your thumb into a space like this. It's a very wide muscle. There's a lot going on here, and so it's pretty hard to miss. And so, depending on how hard you dig in, there can be some very fun reactions there. I'll talk a little bit about technique. The best tool for this job is the pad of your thumb. So you want to start with blunt pressure that doesn't last very long, little short bursts of light pressure, just to see if they can feel anything at all. Especially if you look up like lists of pressure points online, there's some that are in spots where if you push too hard, something might go wrong. Like on the back of the jaw, if you push too hard, you can get a dislocation, which nobody wants. Similarly, if you're using something like a tool or something that's sharp, like if you have acrylics on or something, if you press too hard, you could risk like puncturing the skin or some kind of thing that you don't want to happen. So gentle, short bursts of pressure with the pad of your thumb is how you want to start. There are a lot of other things to do though. Here I was pressing and kind of swirling in a circle. That extra motion can really help. And a really fun one is the press and lift, where you press in and you sort of adhere to the side of the rib cage and sort of like drag your thumb upwards. And it's just a very fun reaction, as you can see. So that's probably the easiest one. Thank you. That's probably the easiest one, but that is far from the only one that is active in a position where the bottom's hands are either pressing forward or like raised above their head. Oops, sorry, I'm tangled up here. Just a second. Okay. Elbows up like this. Okay, so the next one that I want to show off is here on the tricep down here. If you feel this muscle, when those hands are up like this muscle's not really doing very much, and so it feels very soft. However, press against my hand. So now like this, if you feel this muscle, it's much harder, which means this muscle's doing work. It's going to be a lot more sensitive now, and we can dig in down here and get some fun pain here on the underside of your arm, which is not typically going to be a space where, if you're swinging a flogger or something, I guess maybe you could get caned down there if you're really mean. But the underside of the arm right here is not typically a spot where you're going to get a lot of action in like an impact scene. And so being able to spread the pain out to a different location can be very fun. And so let's just demonstrate that again. So when the muscle's not doing anything, you can press, and I'm pressing pretty hard and still getting a reaction. But if Zoe is sort of like pushing up against the wall or restrained in some way that's activating this muscle, I don't need to do anywhere near as much for Zoe to react even more than that, right? So that's another really fun one. Okay, thank you. Credit is all going to Zoe. Really, the bottom holds everything together, don't they? Okay, for the third one, we're going to do one on the thigh. So if you could get down on your, no, sit down. Cool. Legs out in front, if it's okay. All right, cool. So this one works really well if you are, say, laying in bed together, if you're having like some sadomaso cuddles or something like that, or if you're changing position and giving someone a break. Oftentimes the inner thighs can be exposed this way. And here, about at the midpoint on, say, like if your legs are open this way, I'm at like, halfway down here, digging your fingers in here, there's a very nasty one. So this has the advantage of being a pretty soft and pretty wide area, so you can spread the force out a lot. So if you want to use, say, a knuckle, with like a single concentrated one, you can do it this way. But if you want to spread it out across, say, all of your fingers, like lining the fingertips up like this, that's a really good like swirling motion. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, good stuff here. And once again, it's a pretty wide target, and there's not really anything in there that's going to be damaged too hard if you end up pressing too hard or something like that. You know, there's no like internal organs down there that you're going to poke and make uncomfortable. Just happy discomfort for the bottom. Okay, so final one is my favorite one. And you can imagine, step in front of me please. If you could imagine, Zoe is getting flogged like this, mostly on the back, fun times like this, and I am back here doing my thing.
Yeah, girl!
But I want to come in and give them a hug. Everybody loves hugs, right? But if I want to give them a hug, I have to stop hitting them. So if I'm going to lose my arm holding it around their body like this, so what I can do this way is I can reach under the armpit. Now, if you have your arm up like this, you can feel your shoulder blade, right? And if you move just a little bit forward, you can feel the rib cage. What we're trying to do is find the spot in between the shoulder blade and the rib cage. It actually helps if you flap your arm a little bit like a chicken, because you can feel the shoulder blade moving, and so you can find the area that you're trying to target here. And you can take your thumb and get it up in that spot in between the shoulder blade and the rib cage. This is a very, very mean one, and I have yet to find someone that this doesn't really work on. Depending on how much exercise you get, what you do with your muscles, where your job is, things like that, you're going to have more or less stress on, say, the one here on the side of the rib cage. If your arms aren't up like this all day, then that's going to be a less sore area generally. But not very much happens up in here between your shoulder blade and your rib cage. And so if you want to be like wrapped in a complete embrace with someone, but still find a way to dig into a pressure point, right here under the armpit, in between the shoulder blade and the rib cage, is like, this is my absolute favorite one. Gets them every time. And so, if you want to like have a fun, you know, break time in between like pieces of an impact scene, or if you want to just like be here nice with your friend who you love and just be like, uh-oh, time to dig my thumb in here. This is a very fun time right here. Good kitty. So, thank you very much, everybody. Tops, I hope we've added a tool to your toolbox. Bottoms, hope you have a new thing to ask for. Switches, maybe give this a try.
Do you want to maybe show them the advanced technique?
Yeah.
I'll hold the mic.
Anything from my bottom, except for please. There you go.
So what's super good?
Go ahead.
Right? So, you're getting beat up, right, like this. And then you're kind of hitting your limits. But you don't want to stop, per se. So what Monica was talking about, with the added intimacy of getting directly in it with the pressure points after doing what she's doing now. I think it's like a nice way to get a little breather in there, if I'm being honest to all my bottoms out here.
Keep talking. What are you doing?
Because they're coming. I don't have a speech prepared, I'm sorry. Right, so it's like...
You're doing great!
I'm really trying. I'm sorry, I got too distracted by the flogging. Yeah, no, it's a night, like, as Monica says, like with super duper heavy impact play, which, like, tends to involve tools, there's sort of like a noticeable loss of intimacy there that Monica's replicating on me now, after that, like, you know, moderately intense flogging that I just received. So it's a nice way to, I think what I'm trying to say is it's a nice way to tease a little more when you're pushing your limits, because it's a different sort of sensation that, so what Monica's demonstrating on me now is sort of an intermediary technique. You do want to be careful around the jaw. Like Monica said, a lot of these things are like actually pretty safe just to fuck around with, and you've probably been doing them already, like just in the sort of day-to-day of your sexual affairs. Like, who hasn't kind of like dug a thumb into a thigh to build anticipation for what's coming? So you can just sort of think of this use of pressure points like a slightly upgraded version of that. And yeah, like, you know, it is very intense, but a different sort of pain than what is usually going on with impact play. Like, so if you're feeling a little overwhelmed with the slaps or the flogger or whatever, I don't know, right? You know, you can sort of work out this rhythm where, as one hopes, everyone's getting what they need from the moment. So Monica talked about that little extended bit of intimacy, which I share her opinion. As someone who likes to get beat up, there's a certain distance that comes with tools, no matter their practicality. So yeah, it's nice to get that like little, you know, big spoon, little spoon energy in the middle of the scene. And when you're sort of hitting your pain tolerance, as one might be, I think you can get into a really good rhythm with your talk, you know, where they figure out when's the moment to dig a thumb into your jaw, for example. Something like that.
Thank you all so much. Extra round of applause for Zoe. Get to show something off. Zoe has some tattoos back here that provide excellent targets. That's a considerate bottom, right? Thank you all so much.
So we have like a little zine that details what we went over tonight, with diagrams and such, for example. I know there were like at least a few on the table at the entrance, but I think we have a bunch more. If you find one of us, we'll
Yeah.
probably be able to distribute them, and we would love to.
You can also hit us up on Instagram.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I am the Brick River on Instagram. And Zoe, what is your Instagram?
Don't even fucking bother, dude. I can't say it out loud. It's Catboyadero. It's from a video game, I'm sorry. Boy is with an I.
Okay, cool. Enjoy the next performance, everybody.
Thanks so much, y'all. Thanks for being a great audience.